Mr. President Pro Tem, the Honorable Reuben Kihuen, United States Representative, is at the bar of the Assembly.
The appointed committee will escort Representative Kihuen to the Chief Clerk's rostrum. Everyone, please rise. Please be seated.
Congressman Kihuen, we welcome you and look forward to your message.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Friends, it is great to be home. Thank you, Governor Sandoval, for being here and for your leadership. I know this is your final legislative session, and I would be remiss if I didn't thank you for your service to the state of Nevada and to the rest of our country. It has always been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to continuing the rest of the year and a half working with you to make Nevada better. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Thank you, Senate President Pro Tem Dennis, constitutional officers, Speaker Frierson, Majority Leaders Benitez Thompson and Ford, Minority Leaders Roberson and Anderson, and members of the Senate and the Assembly, and the entire LCB staff. Thank you so much. And to all the freshmen, congratulations. As I look around this chamber, I see friends, I see former colleagues, and I see many great Nevadans. But I also see the diversity of America. People of all colors, ages, gender, sexual orientation, political ideology, and from all walks of life. I'm proud of Nevada for having one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse, legislatures in the entire country. Leadership in both houses are people of color. The first African-American Speaker of the Nevada Assembly, Jason Frierson. We're proud of you. 40% of the members of the legislature are women. All this in a state with a Latino governor, a Latina U.S. Senator, 2 Congresswomen, and myself in the House of Representatives. It is the diversity that makes Nevada and America strong. And I ask you to join me in continuing to celebrate and preserve such diversity. It feels like just yesterday that I was sitting right here in this chamber, right there where my friend Assemblywoman Woodbury is sitting, as a freshman member of the Nevada Legislature, almost 10 years ago. And I remember having Senator Atkinson look at me every day and say, "Hey, freshman, get to work." And then I had Assemblyman Carpenter to the left of me, talking to me about his Suzy Q boat and about rural Nevada. I had the opportunity in my time here to serve with and learn from several true Nevada statesmen and women, people who never hesitated to put their state before their party, including the legendary Senator Bill Raggio, who taught us all a thing or two about compromise, negotiating, and how to master the rules to pass legislation. Speaker Barbara Buckley, whom I had the honor to vote for as the first female speaker in our state's history. Assemblyman Bernie Anderson, who taught me to never lose my integrity and credibility, because sometimes that's all we have. And he took me to the woodshed a few times, if you all know what I mean. Assemblyman John Carpenter, a champion for rural Nevada, and the person responsible for my induction into the legislature's Cowboy Hall of Fame. and many, many others. I also made lifelong friends, many of you who are here today, including my brother from another mother and former roommate, Senator Mo Dennis, whom I had the opportunity to co-found the Nevada Hispanic Legislative Caucus with. Now, as many of you know, I am the proud son of a housekeeper and a former farm worker. My family came to America when I was 8 years old, and we came here in pursuit of the American dream. We came to this country because we knew that in America, if you worked hard, sacrificed, and played by the rules, that you could become anything and achieve anything you want. Well, today, that 8-year-old kid who came here with no money, with no connections, no friends, no job, is a member of the United States House of Representatives. That is the American dream. Growing up in a working-class neighborhood in North Las Vegas, I never imagined serving in this body, in the state legislature, let alone stand here as a United States Congressman. It is truly the greatest honor of my life to serve the people of Nevada. Now, after 3 months in Congress, I have much greater appreciation of the time that I spent here in the legislature. And not just because I missed the wings or the bread pudding at Firkin and Fox, or karaoke nights at Jimmy G's with Senator Ford. And if y'all haven't seen him sing, y'all got to see him sing. But because we got things done here in the legislature. Rarely a day goes by where I don't tell folks in Washington about the work done here in Carson. Washington could take some lessons from you all. The idea of Democrats and Republicans coming together to make as large of an investment in education as we did last session, that's foreign in Washington, D.C. But here, we came together to do what is best for Nevada's children. We put our parties aside and put our children first. I often talk about working with my friend Senator Kihuen to pass the first ever need-based grants for Nevada's college students. And I'm proud to see that this program has been a big success and that the governor has requested more funding to grow the program. Because making college more affordable is critical to the future of our state. And we all know that we will not have a diversified economy without a well-trained and well-educated workforce. Now, in the steps that this body has taken to diversify our state's economy, that should serve as a model for the country. Working together, you all are paving the way forward for Nevada. And I'm excited in my new role in Congress to share our state's success with the rest of the nation. Now, before I was elected, I promised that I would be available and accessible to all of my constituents, urban, rural, suburban, and I kept that promise, setting off on a district-wide tour and listening to Nevada residents from Las Vegas to Yerington and Pahrump to Mesquite. And next week, I will embark on the second part of that district tour and visit Ely, Caliente, and other eastern Nevada cities. Giving constituents in the 4th Congressional District a voice and protecting their right is my #1 priority in Congress. Now, since arriving in Congress, I've been committed to working on solutions to the challenges that our nation and the district are facing. Now, as you can imagine, Washington, D.C. is an interesting place to be right now. Last month, when the American Health Care Act was introduced in Congress, I fought to protect health care for millions of Americans. The Affordable Care Act may not be perfect, but we shouldn't cast aside all the progress that we have made these last 8 years just to score political points. The American people are tired of political brinkmanship. They are tired of hyperpartisanship. What we need to do is look for ways to improve access and get health care while bringing down the rising cost of premiums. That is how you tackle this issue. Now, I thank Governor Sandoval once again for being a strong voice for protecting the expansion of Medicaid, which is so critical here in Nevada to ensuring that low-income families and rural Nevadans have access to health care. Right here in Nevada, the uninsured rate went down from 22% to 12% since the ACA implementation. I introduced an amendment aimed at protecting funding for vulnerable Nevadans, particularly low-income children who rely on Medicaid for critical health care needs. My amendment would have prevented cuts for providers like pediatricians that help keep our kids healthy. Now, my work in Washington has not only focused on protecting the most vulnerable, but also working to pay back what we owe our veterans for the countless contributions they made to our country. They have made tremendous sacrifices so that we can enjoy the safety and tranquility here at home. So working to ensure our military and veteran families have the support they need must be a top priority for Congress. That is why earlier this year, I introduced my first bill, the Step for Veterans Act, which would help community colleges train veterans to fill desperately needed jobs in our local economy. Community colleges should have the tools they need to best serve those who risk their lives for our country. And I can't think of a better prepared group of people to help us fill the jobs of the future than our own veterans. I am also fighting to keep the Ely Community Clinic for veterans in my district open. It is a shame that our veterans fought for our country and now have to fight to keep their clinic open. Veterans should not be forced to travel hundreds of miles to get the care they rely on and deserve. We shouldn't be putting our veterans' health care at risk just to save a few bucks. Our American heroes deserve better. I'm proud of the work I've done alongside my colleagues in with the Nevada delegation to protect our beautiful public lands for future generations. Protecting monuments such as Gold Butte can create jobs, increase property values, and improve quality of life for local residents. Federal and state governments should work together to protect this for the benefit of Nevadans and tourists alike. The Nevada delegation was also united in sponsoring the Nuclear Waste Informed Consent Act earlier this year, demanding that states be consulted before nuclear waste repositories can be built by the federal government anywhere in the country. Now, let me be clear. I will fight every single day tirelessly with all my energy that I have to ensure that this administration cannot and will not revive Yucca Mountain as storage for the country's nuclear waste. Nevada is not a waste dump. Now, I came to Congress to get things done and continue fighting to defend Social Security and Medicare. We want to strengthen our economy and get Nevadans back to work, continue to fight to make higher education more affordable and accessible, and to fight for comprehensive immigration reform. We shouldn't be building walls. We should be building bridges, roads, and schools. I look forward to working with both Democrats and Republicans on a bill that will invest in our infrastructure and put people back to work. Now, while I'm here, I want to voice my support for a few of the bills you all are working on. First of all, congratulations to my friend and now my state senator, Pat Spearman, who has been fighting tirelessly for this for years on the ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment. This is an important step forward for Nevada in the fight for women's rights. This is not a victory for Senator Spearman or the Democrats. This is a victory for every girl and every woman in Nevada and our country. Thank you, Senator Spearman, for your leadership. I will continue to fight efforts to cut Medicaid funding, but I urge you to push forward and expand the program that helps 600,000 Nevadans obtain the health care that they need. I support proposals ensuring paid sick leave to give economic security for families as they deal with illness and health care problems. No one, and I mean no one, should have to choose between a paycheck and their health. I support legislation that will make it easier for small businesses to gain access to capital, to grow and expand. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy, and we must continue to do everything possible to make it easier for people to start and expand their business. Now, I urge you to continue growing Nevada's green energy economy and create thousands of good-paying jobs by passing several of the renewable energy bills being proposed this session. With so much land, wind, and sun, Nevada can be the leader in the world in clean and renewable energy. This will help with our state's economic diversification efforts as well. Now, in education, I strongly urge you not to send desperately needed public money to private schools. Vouchers are a bad policy, and our children deserve the best. Let's keep public money in our public schools. Let's instead invest in programs that have produced positive results for all of our children, such as full-day kindergarten, Zoom schools, victory schools, and expand teacher training and STEM education. Now, finally, I strongly support your efforts to pass a living wage in the state of Nevada. Our workers deserve a pay raise and an opportunity to provide for their families. We live in the greatest and most powerful and richest country on the planet. No one who works full-time should live in poverty in America. America is better than that. And lastly, as you all continue your public service and taking care of our state's legislative matters, I want to give you a word of advice that somebody once gave me. Remember that being in elected office, it's not about you. It is about the people who elected you to represent them. Remember that public service is always about the people. Because at the end of the day, we're not Democrats or Republicans. We're not liberals or conservatives. We are Nevadans and Americans first. Thank you, everybody. God bless you, and good luck with the rest of the session. Thank you so much.